Friends, here's one for you. I was noticing how doggone cold it is today, and I don't know. I did a video earlier about the cold winds coming in from the Catskills through the Poconos, the endless mountains of Pennsylvania, uh, and eventually making their way to the Kittatinny Ridge here in New Jersey. Which makes up the Water Gap, and well, eventually the cold air finds its way to our humble abode, and frankly, it's been cold out. That's all there is to it. And I know warmer days are coming, and a lot of the snow melt is happening. And it just hit me. I remember a cool story about, well, cold weather kind of messing with you, and then ending. Yes, that's when the mess really occurred. There was this when, oh gosh, this was like a trillion years ago. Okay, say 40 years ago. Yeah, I was in my 30s, give or take. And I had a job that took me around. I drove around Pennsylvania, going to different factories, schools, hospitals, checking the boilers. Yeah, that's what I did. It was kind of nice. And, it's nothing I like better than a ride through Pennsylvania anyway, and to get paid for doing it. And boiler rooms, I always found them kind of fascinating. So, yeah. But there was this one place. There was a valley. I think it was somewhere near, oh, north of Bloomsburg, kind of between Bloomsburg and, say, Wilkes-Barre, and not along not necessarily a main road. So I honestly don't know exactly where this place would be. I doubt I could find it again. It'd just be hit and miss, right? But this guy had what I thought was a pretty darn cool idea. I drove by his house in the, it was sort of late fall. So it was getting cold. It was getting cold out. And he had this thing, he had like a little fence made in his yard, a little round fence. And he had a hose going into the fence. And then, again, I'm trying to think I guess this is how he must have done it. He had a hose going into the little the rounded off area, the fenced off area, and the hose nozzle was pointed straight up. And what he did was he ran water out of that hose on the colder days, and the water would come out of the hose, spread, and with the way late fall is in Pennsylvania and early winter, things started to freeze. And pretty soon he had like this big disc of water, maybe a foot high, let's say 6 foot in diameter. Okay, pretty good sized disc of water sitting in his yard. I said, wow, will you look at that? And then I don't know quite what the logistics would be, but I guess on a hot day, he'd probably turn off the hose. But if you could see there was a hole in the middle of that disc, that was where the water from the hose evidently came up and spread. Okay. And now I don't know if on cold days he went and turned the water on again, or if it was a constant flow, a constant drip. It's hard to say. I didn't know the guy, so what could I do? But he had a nice little front yard, a garage, a little bit of a carport, probably right off the garage, the kitchen, that kind of thing. And over the winter, as winter progressed, I'd go there and he'd have maybe his column would be maybe another 3 feet high, and then maybe 2 feet high, and then, I don't know, maybe a foot higher, and then maybe on a really cold spell, maybe 4 foot higher. Again, it didn't take too long for that column was like 20 feet up, and again, about 6 foot in diameter. That's a lot of water. Luckily, I'm assuming he had a well. Okay, and what he was doing was different discs. He would, I guess, put coloring somehow in the water. And so it looked like a big stack of lifesavers. I don't know, maybe the lifesaver factory was near there. I don't know. Maybe he was a foreman. I don't know. But he kept building it. And in fact, I think I remember stopping and just hollered, "Hey, that's cool." He said, "Well, thank you." Yes. And I said, how far are you going to let it go? He says, "Oh, I don't know. The sky's the limit." I said, "Well, okay." Wow. And and I drove off, but, and I kept coming back. Well, eventually that thing got up to about 35 feet up to the top. Yeah. People were wanting to climb it, mountain climbers and stuff. It was pretty cool. And again, it was pretty as pie, and higher and higher. I think probably maximum height got eventually up to about 40 foot. Yeah, about 40 foot. I'm thinking, man, that's got to weigh a lot. Well, we found out just how much it weighed. As when spring came, it got warm, and there's this thing hanging in his yard, and I drive by it and I said, "Whoa, boy, that's up there now." Oh my God! And one day, like I said, I came I came riding by and I had to hit the brakes. I couldn't believe it. The darn thing had fallen. Yep, it collapsed right onto his garage. Oh my God, the garage was flat as a pancake. I he was out on the lawn, kind of, I guess, taking donations. I said, "What happened?" He says, "It got warm and the darn thing collapsed." He's, "Oh my God." He says, "Look what it did to my garage." I said, "Was your car in? Was your pickup truck in there?" He didn't have a car; he had a pickup. He says, "Yeah." He says, "It busted my pickup truck, something awful." Oh, he says, "What a dumb idea." I said, "Well, it's insured, right, in the house?" "Yeah." He says, "But boy, I think my rates is going to go up now." I said, "Well, what you do is maybe next year you keep people away from it. I mean, if there is a next year." Well, he says, "Yeah, I'm going to try to go for 50 foot next year, but I think you're right. I'm going to have to build something to hold it in place. I want it to look like a big candle." I said, "Well, yeah, you could do that with wiring and all. I guess you just gotta maybe keep everyone at a safe distance from when it topples. Sooner or later it's got to." He says, "Yeah." "I just wish I had thought of that sooner." And we shook hands and I drove off. But he next year, I don't know. I think I lost that account, and I lost track of where the darn house was. But I never saw it again. Maybe his wife talked him out of it. Maybe. I mean, it just missed the kitchen. Yeah, heaven knows. But I thought you'd like that. It's an absolute true story. I may have exaggerated only a little. Okay, just a little, but it was pretty cool. I got to say, it was one of the great lawn ornaments, one of the greatest ones I ever saw. Yes. Anyway, and it made Christmas brighter for a lot of people. Anyway, I'll see you later, friends. Thank you. And God bless. Bye now.